are, in fact, going with Chet Holmgren out of Gonzaga, the 7-footer, just about 200 pounds. So OKC does not change its plans. They stick with Chet. They're not going to take Jabari Smith. They, in fact, go with Chet Holmgren, the kid that had 117 blocks in his freshman season for the Zags. And now OKC gets to get this long, ridiculous wingspan. Chet Holmgren headed to Oklahoma City to play for the Thunder. And look, he's going to have to get some weight on him if he's really going to move around in the league and be a factor. But Adam, as you said, this guy isn't soft. This is a guy that's willing to get dirty, willing to grind it out night in and night out.
Yeah, skinny, not soft. So, and what you have is you have an elite rim protector. From an efficiency standpoint, you have one of the best finishers in college basketball because not only is he long, but he's quick off his feet. And you have someone who is highly, highly skilled for his size. He shoots a naturally very soft ball. He can handle and start the break, as you saw. He can also pass the ball, so he's going to be able to play out of dribble handoffs, and he's going to be versatile in offensive structure at the next level. And I also like the fit with an OKC team that has young building blocks in the backcourt with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, and Lou Dort, among others.
You like this, Chet Holmgren? You have any concerns about him? You concerned about his lanky frame? What, if anything, concerns you about Chet Holmgren? Because this kid is a ridiculous athlete.
A lot of times we put too much of an emphasis, and I've been in these draft rooms before as a coach when I coached the Mavericks and the Nets. I'm looking at basketball IQ. Can his skill set transfer? His body will be fine. You got to remember, in the NBA, they have some of the best sports performance teams behind the scenes that's the best money can buy. So again, he'll be fine. He'll have the best strength and conditioning coaches, sports performance coaches. If he has sleeping problems, they will help correct those. So I think from a skill standpoint, that's what I'm focused on. The way he can dribble, pass, dribble, and shoot at his size, rim protector, both on the ball and off the ball rim protector, the way he can stretch and make the three-point shot, and not just the basic three, the three that's 2 or 3 steps behind the three-point line, which opens up a sea of driving lanes. It's hard to pass up on a talent like Chet Holmgren. I'm all in on this kid.
And this is the guy that Gary said he would take first overall if he were the Orlando Magic. OKC gets him at 2. I'm sure they're extremely proud and happy about this.
They should be, because I think ultimately if he becomes everything I think he can become, he's the best player from this draft. Coach has got it right about his body. Like, they can fix that to some degree. He'll never look like, as Adam put it, Dwight Howard. But my friend Jonathan Gavoni, who is a draft analyst, made an interesting point earlier in the week that I'd never quite thought of, but it sort of stuck in my head since he made it. He's skinny. There's no getting around it. But can you name a player who didn't reach their potential in basketball strictly because they were skinny or not muscular enough or not strong enough? Like, there are skinny players who didn't make it, obviously, but is there anybody you can remember who you went, God, that guy could have made it, but he was just too skinny? It's not really a thing. You know, Kevin Durant was very skinny coming out of college. Yes. It didn't really matter. No. He's still fairly skinny. It doesn't seem to matter. Can you play basketball? And at every step of the way, this guy, Chet Holmgren, has proved that he can.
Do you expect him to put on weight, or do you think he'll play at that 200-pound weight level? Because I could see a situation where we see him on draft night, and then like 5 years down the road, he's this beef stick.
I don't think he'll ever be Charles Oakley.
Okay.
Right? Maybe 15 pounds, but and that'll be just enough. So again, you can't put 50 more pounds on this frame. You want him to maintain his athleticism, his basketball durability, the way he can move, his footwork. And again, when you look at this kid, Kevin Garnett, when he came out of high school, I played against Kevin Garnett. He wasn't the biggest player, all right, but he turned out okay. So a lot of times we overemphasize, the size of a player, but we got to also check his heart. This kid's got a big heart and a competitive spirit that you just can't measure.
117 blocks in the WCC in his freshman year. He was WCC Defensive Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, the highest drafted player out of Gonzaga, edging out Adam Morrison as Chet Holmgren goes second overall to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Matt, quickly want to bring you in here. What are the Thunder getting in a defensive guru and a guy that has ridiculous wingspan in Chet Holmgren?
They are getting a guy that I believe is as obsessed, and I say that as a compliment, and I say that having talked with Chet Holmgren throughout the season, wrote a big profile on him, saw him at the start of the season against Texas, saw him at the end of the season when they lost in the NCAA tournament out west. Obsessed with basketball, insisting on being coached to the hardest degree, not taking compliments. This is a player who Mark Few told me they had to beg, if not threaten, to keep out of the weight room to improve his body but not overwork himself. Oklahoma City had been in love with Chet Holmgren for weeks and weeks and weeks. Credit to Sam Presti. They did not budge. Orlando threw a wrinkle into this entire thing. It would have been understandable if Jabari Smith would have gone too. That wasn't the case. They wanted Chet from the get-go. I think Oklahoma City would have taken Chet if they had the number 1 pick, and I think he will be a wonderful fit there. Defensively, you know, I had a few college coaches and scouts tell me Chet is able to erase space in ways that very few players ever have before. He'll obviously be a guy to watch going forward because we haven't seen a player like him, and there's no really telling if he'll hit big, if he'll be just okay, or if we'll look up and say it just wasn't, the physicality was just too much, and he winds up not as a top 10 prospect in this class. I think anyone trying to project and really say how good he will be, it's a guessing game at this point because we've never seen a player like him before.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.